Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Ladies in red. Discuss the latest news, just fans giving their views. This channel is red. They see the bar and raise it, plus they rep for the ladies. Trust it's red. Female voices in football. Red. If you want to talk up, it's a red channel for me and you. Subscribe and tune into the Ladies in Red.
Hi guys, and welcome back to Ladies in Red. Happy Friday to you all. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. Firstly, I just need to say a massive apology. Obviously, I know I've had a lack of content this week. I have been ill, and that's why obviously I haven't done any streams on ECL or on Ladies in Red. So I want to say a massive sorry for that. But obviously, I'm getting back into it now. And of course, I felt like I could have gone live yesterday before the Ronaldo obviously interview happened. But you know what? I'll wait till the dust is settled, kind of think about it, and yeah, once I've heard it in full, then react to it, which is what I'm going to do today. So yeah, I hope you are all doing well, but there's only one thing really that I think I need to talk about, and that's what everybody's talking about at the moment, and that is Cristiano Ronaldo. And obviously I'm looking forward to see what you guys say in the chat as well. Hello to Stone Cold Leah, hope you're good. Hello to Gaz as well. Yeah, Glazers out 100%. And Lawbreaker, hello to you. I am feeling better, thank you. I appreciate you asking. And obviously my ECL streams will be back on Sunday. I do have to move it to the evening, because as you all know, I've started playing football again. So yeah, I'll have to move it later, but I'll still be sticking to the Sunday and the Monday schedule that I have been doing. So yeah, I'll be back on there at the weekend. Hello to Vincent, I hope you're doing well. And Mystic Werewolf, Ronaldo needs therapy, to be honest. Right, I'm going to get into it. I think, like I say, there's no point beating around it. Like, I'm going to try and give you my honest opinions, and this is my opinions. Obviously, you guys will have different, I'm sure. But I want to try and be as balanced as I always try and be as balanced as I can be, and it's no different here. So, firstly, for me, when I heard that he was doing an interview with Piers Morgan, I'm immediately on the downside from this. I'm thinking, of all people to go to, Piers bloody Morgan. I just didn't agree with that anyway. I think Piers Morgan is one of the worst people that Ronaldo could have spoken to, and I know they said he likes him and stuff like that, but the ironic thing for me in that whole interview is how he kept referring to the press as being garbage, and yet he's there talking to one of the most garbage people you could talk to in terms of press, and obviously it leaked to the Sun as well, which for me is immediately like a no. It's a no-go. But look, I tweeted this. I absolutely adore Ronaldo. I love Ronaldo. I always have and always will. Have I lost respect for him following this interview? I'll probably say, yeah, I have. Because as a model professional, if you keep claiming that you're a role model and a model professional, why on earth would you choose to out your manager, the club, in the manner that he has? And look, like I say, I'm going to be balanced. I've got a little list here of some of the key points that he made. And if I forget any, please do dip in the chat and share your thoughts as well. But I do think he made some valid points. The motives behind him making them points, of course, we all know it's probably for his own personal gain, of course. But the fact that he came out and spoke about the facilities at United, the fact that the chief executives, the Glazers, whatnot, they kind of push it down to everyone else. They're not football people. They don't really care. They don't take much responsibility in terms of the club, and that the club has basically been stuck in time. He's just basically cemented and confirmed everything that us fans have been saying for a long time. And like I said, the motives for him saying that, we all know it's because he could have said it last season. He didn't. When he was scoring goals and playing well, he didn't. Now that he's on the bench, he's all of a sudden come out and said it. It's all for his own personal gain. Of course it is. But still, obviously, the biggest name in football, our most high-profile player, coming out and saying that is still good for us fans. I still think we see that as a positive. Like I say, no two ways about it. I know why he did it. It was for himself. But like I say, he just confirmed everything that us fans knew realistically going into this interview. And that can only be a positive, I think, to draw more attention to that. And obviously backing the Glazers out campaign as well. Vincent said, wouldn't say, are you going to the under-21s game at the Wolves ground on Tuesday? Tickets are available. When you find the Wolves ground, they're only £4. I'm not going. I play football myself on a Tuesday evening, but that is good, £4. That's good. If anyone is about, obviously go and check out that. Afternoon to Acid. First live stream in 2 months. It's a big one. Hope you're well. It is a big one for sure. There's, like I say, there's a lot of talking points all around Ronaldo, of course. But yeah, I'm good, thank you, and I hope you're doing well too. Olive the Villa, hello to you. I am feeling much better, and I hope you're doing well too. Ronaldo FC needs to go. No player is bigger than the club. Thanks for the memories under Ferguson, but it is time to go. We keep saying that, don't we? No player is bigger than the club, and we have to stand by that. Sad that it has to end this way. Always and forever, my GOAT will forever remain my favourite player and remove the Qatar World Cup. Yeah, I mean, whilst that was going on yesterday, I had a brief conversation with Mark Goldbridge, actually, on Twitter. And the words that I used for him were, I'm so emotionally torn when I was watching it, because like I say, I absolutely love Ronaldo. I absolutely love him. And when he came back, like hand on heart, I couldn't sleep that night. I had to pinch myself and check that it was still happening because I couldn't believe we were signing Ronaldo back. Like that's the happiest I felt, I think, as a United fan for a bit, because I was just ecstatic with him coming back, and I knew we weren't getting the same Ronaldo and whatnot, of course. But yeah, look, I'm not going to sit here and lie and say, oh, we shouldn't have brought him back. I don't regret a second of bringing Ronaldo back because, like I say, he's my goat. As Akerman said there, I absolutely adore him and I was buzzing to get him back. And it is a shame that it's ended this way. Josh said here, I think the interview might be a plot to force investment into the club's training facilities and technology. United need a striker, but should spend money on the facilities as we've got a good squad, says Josh. I think he was obviously, he wanted out. And he's getting his wishes, and he's getting his wish. Obviously, there's been a few statements that have come out about today. The rumours are that he is basically, he's basically going to be sacked. He's basically going to be dismissed, and whatever terms that is. I know the club is just looking into that now and looking into terminating that contract. But I think he's basically trying to force his hand, isn't he, by doing this? He threw everyone under the bus and didn't really care. So I have made a few notes of the biggest ones. So the Glazers for me, and about the facilities, that is a positive. Yes, it was for his own personal gain, but it is still good because he's echoed everything that us fans have been feeling for a long time now. Obviously, the bit about his daughter being in hospital and saying the club didn't believe him, I can kind of agree how if that is the truth, of course, because again, this is what I didn't like about this interview. It was basically just a monologue of him just telling his side. Piers did not push his buttons at all, didn't go back at him at all. And I know Simon Jordan laid into him today on TalkSport regarding that, and he said, look, he didn't go back at him at all, he didn't push him at all. And it was just basically Ronaldo telling his side, and there's two sides to every story, as we know. I'm just basing it off what he said. If it is true that the club weren't really too sure that is the case, and to be fair to the club as well, obviously he had just come out and said he wanted Champions League football, and then all of a sudden we're not going back. But at the end of the day, he's a family man, and look, your kids always have to come first, regardless. He's a human being at the end of the day. So I think I can understand why you would feel frustrated at that situation. Trying to think of, like, if that was me, for example, like I can understand if he felt that way. I get it on a human level. I get it. Obviously, everything what happened with his son and that as well is absolutely heartbreaking. Of course, it is. And again, like for that, like it was kind of interesting to hear that side of thing, because you don't think of Ronaldo really in his family that much. We think of him as the GOAT and the footballer and the professional that he is, and you kind of forget about that personal side to his life. So to hear that, like I think it was quite refreshing to hear a bit more about him on a personal level. But for me, like I've already said it, the fact that he went to Piers Morgan in the first place is a massive negative. Like, of all people to go to, like you claim that you're the model professional, yet you're going to Piers Morgan, and I just can't. For me, that just doesn't level. It doesn't sit right at all. And it has made me lose a bit of respect for Ronaldo. Like I say, he'll always be a legend to me, and I'll always love him for what he's done at United. But the manner in which he's gone about that, I mean, the bad points, obviously, Ten Hag, he used the word rat when talking about Wayne Rooney. Wayne Rooney, obviously, club legend, an absolute legend for his country as well, one of my favourite players ever. And for Ronaldo to come out and talk about his looks and stuff like that, again, he's just kind of contradicting that professional phrase that he keeps using. He's a model professional, and yet he's been so unprofessional with some of the stuff that he was saying. And obviously, the comments about walking down the tunnel, I don't really understand, because he said he was annoyed that he didn't come on against Man City. We were 4-0 down, and Ten Hag come out and said he was out of respect for Ronaldo. But then against Spurs, when he's asked to come on, he walks down the tunnel. And yeah, I know it was for 3 minutes or whatnot. I get it. But which one is it? Do you want to come on or do you don't want to come on? Because when he was offered to come on, he didn't come on, and it just doesn't, like I say, does not sit well with me. The fact that it was Piers driving him round pathways and down lanes, and Ronaldo happily just followed him down those lanes as well. Ronaldo boy, it means no new striker for Ten Hag. Ten Hag out. I'm backing Ten Hag, of course. He's our future. I don't think any club were touching after this, so he might as well retire. You know what? I was thinking, is there going to be a bombshell in this, and is he going to announce his retirement? Like, I did think that at the end of the video. And all the way through, I was kind of clinging on, because obviously Piers has rinsed the absolute... He's just rinsed this, hasn't he? Like, he was leaking clip after clip after clip and making it seem really, really bad. I'll be honest, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. Wasn't as explosive as Piers first said it was going to be. But it was still obviously bad enough for me to feel this way that I do. But yeah, I think the way that Piers has absolutely rinsed it as well, leaking his little clips, I was kind of hoping that there'd be a surprise where he said, oh, Ten Hag doesn't respect me or whatnot. But then he'd come out afterwards and say, but we have had a conversation, we cleared the air, and now we're all good. I was kind of clinging on and hoping that, but obviously that did not happen. The clips were kind of true in that sense, that he's basically just put the final nail in the coffin in terms of his career at United. And the fact that he said at the end as well, he wasn't writing off that he could be still coming back. Like, in what world did Ronaldo think like that was a possibility? That was never going to be a possibility. Ten Hag didn't want him from the start. It was a power struggle because of the Magic owners who were blinding fans with a new coach and a few players. Yeah, I agree with you. I do agree. It was kind of a panic thing at the end, wasn't it? Interesting to see as well. Obviously, he spoke about being close to Man City. And I heard rumours that was true as well, to be fair, that he was close. But then Man City apparently are a bit confused by that as well because it wasn't close at all. They had a look at him and they were tempted, but they decided that the age that Ronaldo is and whatnot, it doesn't kind of fit their transfer policy. And I think that's also interesting as well, the fact that Ronaldo has come out and said that it was close. And like I say, it was basically a monologue. It was Ronaldo just giving his side to the story and us not, do you know what I mean? Like, you either take it or you leave it, basically. You either believe it or you don't. But the way that he went on Ten Hag as well, for me, and I don't know if you guys agree with me, I think Ten Hag was too lenient with Ronaldo. Ronaldo said there was no respect there, but I think Ten Hag actually dealt with him with the utmost respect. Some of the ways that Ronaldo acted, like, he dealt with it really well, Ten Hag, and I still stand by it. I feel like Ten Hag dealt with the whole Ronaldo situation really, really well. I do think there's an element of Ronaldo's reaching the end of his career, and he's frustrated at that. Of course, naturally, he wants to keep going forever. He's that kind of, we know how hard he works, we know what a machine he is. But unfortunately, age does eventually catch up with you. And I think the way that he reacted to the Rooney comments in particular, calling him a rat and stuff like that, I just think it was disgraceful. I think it was absolutely disgraceful to come out and make that kind of accusation and that kind of comment, because I don't actually, from the clips that I've seen, and whether I've missed something here, the clips that I've seen of Rooney talking about Ronaldo, he hasn't said anything too bad. And then for Ronaldo to then react and start talking about Wayne Rooney's looks and whatnot, like, come on, mate, you're saying you're professional, but that's hardly professional, is it? Do you know what I mean? So, hello to Lois. I hope you're doing well, mate. K Solo, hi, Soph. One thing, Rooney and Neville said things about Ronaldo, but they never said a thing about Ollie, and it was dreadful. But I even think, even like Neville, it took him a while, really. It wasn't until Ronaldo really walked down a tunnel that I think Neville really said anything. Again, Neville kind of protected him, didn't he? Quite a bit until that, if I remember rightly, until that kind of thing when he couldn't really protect him no more. I don't get it. Piers Morgan was so far at Ronaldo's arse, it's ridiculous. Might as well have uploaded CR7. I actually reckon he's got a tattoo of him on his arse, to be fair. Like, it was ridiculous. But yeah, and why are we talking about his followers? Like, we know how many followers he's got. Nobody, we don't care about that. We know how sellable Ronaldo is. We know how much, and that's why it's even worse, the fact that he's gone to Piers Morgan, because we know how much this is going to fly, this interview, and how many people are going to be watching it and listening to it. And that's why I didn't like how it was leaked so much as well, because I think it built it up. And like I said, I don't think it was as explosive as the rest. Do you know what I mean? I don't think. Yeah, he's on about Wayne Rooney, and he said, and all the rest of the rats as well, didn't he? So for me, he is calling Rooney a rat, and to call them rats anyway. Like, no player is bigger than the club. United have had 75% win rate without Ronaldo and 25% with him. United will be better without Ronaldo. I thought that what he said about the young players was ridiculous. So I'm about to move on that as well. Good evening to Doug as well. Thank you for that. But yeah. So he says he's a role model. Yeah, he walks off down the tunnel or leaves games earlier. And then, it wasn't only him, but you can't claim to be a role model and act that way, in my opinion. He also goes on to say that he doesn't think his teammates respect him. And he criticised the youth for today. Now, I'll be honest, some of the comments on the youth, and I'm probably going to be a bit controversial here, but some of it, I do actually think it's different for kids growing up. I know me, as I'm a female footballer, so it's a bit different. For girls growing up, for example, now, there's a lot more support, there's a lot more pathways, there's a lot more avenues to go down. It is more gifted to you. Whereas me growing up, I was the only girl in my area playing football, so it was a lot harder to make it. So I think in that sense, I do think, I mean, he spoke about his own 12-year-old, didn't he, saying that he's attached to his iPad and stuff like that. Like, that generation is different in that sense. But then he went into, he just literally slandered them, didn't he? He went in even more. And at first I was thinking, it's kind of got a point, I get it. But then I do think he crossed the line in that sense. And if you're young Garnacho, bless him, who obviously absolutely adores Ronaldo, how are you going to feel seeing that? Do you know what I mean? He absolutely adores him. He asked if he could do his celebrations. How are you going to feel seeing your idol talk down to your generation like that? Again, I just don't think it was the best. And obviously, Piers Morgan ran with that. Of course, he did as well. And he started adding words like, don't you think they respect you and stuff like that? How could they not respect you? Piers Morgan, you know what? Like, I've never really had an opinion on him. I know, obviously, he's been very dodgy, let's say, in the past with some of the stuff that he's done. But following this, like, everything about it just made me feel anger towards him, because you can tell that he's loving every single second of it, of an Arsenal fan. And then when Ronaldo adds in about he'd like to see Arsenal winning the league if United don't and stuff like that as well, I'm just thinking, is this really necessary? Like, Piers Morgan is just looking at him and just adoring him admiring him in the whole thing, and not really quizzing him and not really getting at the nitty gritty. And it was just too one-dimensional. It wasn't really an interview, was it? It was Ronaldo telling his story with Piers Morgan just sitting there giving him a few indicators along the way. That's basically what happened. Hello to Static, I hope you're doing well. It shouldn't call him a rat. It shouldn't call him a rat. That's just unprofessional. And I've seen Elanga has agreed with Ronaldo's comment about the youngest. That's what I mean. Like, to an extent, I can understand what he was getting at, because I do think it's different for youngsters growing up. Look at the likes of Ronaldo. Like, are we ever going to get another player like him with that longevity? I can see what he's saying. I can see his mentality is different. And again, he just go on to say, look, I'm not blaming them. That's just what they were born into and stuff like that. And I get it. But I do think he did go a bit too much on that. Where do I think Ronaldo will end up? I've heard a lot of links to Bayern Munich. Obviously, Mane's injured. They haven't really got a proper striker at the minute. If that happens, we'll probably end up with Choupo-Moting, let's be honest. But yeah, I think Bayern Munich could be a realistic option for him. Arsenal, I'm actually surprised that I haven't seen more Arsenal rumours following that what happened yesterday. I haven't seen a lot of them. I thought today would be manic on Twitter. But yeah. Neil says, hi Sophie, I'll be glad when Ronaldo leaves. He's like a spoiled child. See, like I'll be honest, it's been a bit tough for me to watch because I'm so torn. As I've already said, I absolutely love Ronaldo. I'm so grateful, obviously, for the memories that we had. And when he came back, I was ecstatic. I had to pinch myself. I was buzzing. But to end it in the way that he has done, for me, if you are a professional, you deal with it in-house. You do not go to Piers Morgan. I'll have to laugh every time I say it because I still can't believe he went to Piers Morgan, of all people, to get your side of the story out. And to wait as well. Like, obviously, he said he was ill. He probably was just doing that interview at the time when he said he was ill, when he should have been playing. So for that in itself, and then to just leak it bit by bit as he's obviously out the door and on the way to the World Cup, I just think it's a really cowardly thing to do as well. Yeah, so my head's a bit all over the place with it. I've tried to just sit and think about it. And like I say, for me, it was at a loss the second that he announced he was doing an interview with Piers Morgan, regardless of anything else. He came out and spoke about the Glazers, which was good. On a human level, I can understand, obviously losing his son and then his daughter being in hospital and him being frustrated at the club following that. But all the other stuff about referring to Rooney as a rat, talking about Ten Hag saying that there's a bad mood between them two. He had no respect for him when I think Ten Hag has been nothing but lenient to Ronaldo. He literally walked down the tunnel early and then 2 weeks later he's got the captain's armband. No other player would have got that treatment. And I think Ten Hag has been too lenient and it's come back to bite him now. And again, I think that's a really dirty thing on Ronaldo to go and talk like that. And like I said, the criticism on the youngsters, I can kind of on one hand understand it because I do think that it's different for that generation growing up, but I do think he went a bit too far with those comments as well. And that's probably how I would break that interview down, just emotionally torn. But obviously statements have come out today, and the talk is that his contract is looking to be terminated. United are looking at the fastest and the swiftest way to do it and the cleanest way to do it. They don't want it to eat into the Portugal's obviously World Cup run. Obviously, we've got the likes of Delo and Bruno still playing for Portugal. So, of course, we want to give them the best possible chance in the tournament. So, I know United want to get it done swiftly. And it will be interesting to see now what happens in January regarding a striker, because we obviously do need a striker. I just made a joke saying Choupo-Moting, and I know we've been linked with him. But I do think it probably will be a signing like that. I'd love to go out and get a big name, but I just can't see that happening in January with the manner of how fast this has all came about as well. But I'm gutted. I'm gutted that it has to end the way that it has done. It is what it is. No player is bigger than a club. Like I did in my tweet yesterday, yeah, I love Ronaldo, but I really do love Manchester United. Club always has to come before any other player. And that's just the way that it is. But yeah, I'm full on back in Ten Hag. Of course I am. Ten Hag for me is our future. I feel like he dealt with Ronaldo perfectly fine. He didn't do anything, to my reckoning, that was disrespectful. If anything, he protected Ronaldo a little bit when Ronaldo had his little tantrums and whatnot, didn't he? So, I disagree with Ronaldo's comments, but I'd hold on to the United are back under Ten Hag that I'm seeing. I just think that with Ten Hag, look, we know it's going to be a work in progress. We already know that he's going to have his own battles and we're going to have blips and we're going to have ups and downs. But having Ronaldo thrown into the mix in the way that it has been with Ronaldo, it's been a constant circus, hasn't it? That getting that out of the way, and I mean that in the nicest way possible, but getting that rigmarole and that kerfuffle out of the way, I just feel like that's the best thing now for our club, and we have to look forward. We have to look to the future. Thank you, Ronaldo, for everything that you've done for outing the Glazers as well in the interview. Even though we know it's for your own personal benefit, I still appreciate him saying those things because it echoes what we felt as fans. And I'm just hoping now that message can continue. But yeah, nobody's bigger than the club, and we have to look forward to that future, to the likes of Garnacho, who are showcasing what they can do. And yeah, for me, as the role model or the professional that he claims to be, that just was the least professional thing that Ronaldo could have done. And he kept mentioning the fans because you could see he's desperate to keep us fans on side. But how can we remain fully on side when we're seeing our new manager get slated in the way that he is, our young players being talked about in the manner that they were? He's gone to an Arsenal fan. Do you know what I mean? So, yeah, that's where I'm at with it. I'm a bit gutted, but like I say, we move on. United won't stop because of this Ronaldo interview for sure. And that's what it is. Guys, I want to say a massive thank you for joining me. I will be back this weekend with Zio doing a stream as well, previewing the World Cup, of course. But please hit a like on the video. I hope I've covered everything. I feel like I have. But hit a like on the video. And of course, if I've missed your comments, I don't do it on purpose. Just drop a comment afterwards. And all that's left to say is subscribe to Ladies in Red for more content. I'll be back at it. I'm feeling better. And yeah, thank you for being patient with me. I appreciate it, guys. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.